Hi everyone, and thanks for watching. If you're here, then you're thinking about installing Iodé OS, a de-Googled operating system that can counter invasive data collection by Apple, Google, and Samsung. If you haven't already, we encourage you to watch our videos that cover how to choose a de-Googled operating system, how to choose a phone to de-Google, and how to prepare all the things leading up to the install of your new operating system on that phone. We're using a standard Pixel 7 for this video, and we'll be sharing the detailed install process. We're not going to explore using Iodé on a day-to-day basis. That needs its own videos. The process starts by downloading an installer. Once you have that downloaded, the process is pretty fast. We found that the Iodé installer is aimed at people who already have some amount of knowledge. No worries, we're adding in those details so you have everything you need to know. Let's get started. As a reminder, there are just a few things you need before starting. First, a browser to download a Windows or Linux install application, a Windows or Linux system to run that installer, and your standards compliant USB cable. The cable is the one we talked about in the preparation video, and any browser will do. In this video today, we're using Windows. If you have those things and your phone, then you're ready to go. The phone configuration for Iodé OS differs from the other two operating systems in an interesting way. It gives you a side quest to take by clicking a link. That quest walks you through enabling developer options and then USB debugging. That's pretty standard. But it doesn't show you how to enable OEM unlocking, which is definitely required for an OS install. Internet research implies that OEM unlocking can be done by a command over ADB, at least for some phones. But we enabled OEM unlocking ourselves because we knew it was also necessary. Our goal is for viewers to be confident when trying de-Googled operating systems, and we think that means all our videos should follow the same structure. So we're providing full instructions for enabling both USB debugging and OEM unlocking to give you that consistency. Open Settings and go to About Phone and tap that. Scroll down to Build Number and tap it 7 times. You'll have to authenticate. Then go back to Settings and scroll to System. Tap that. Scroll down to Developer Options, which you just enabled, and tap that. Scroll down to OEM Unlocking and tap that. You'll need to authenticate. Now tap Enable. Now scroll down to USB Debugging and tap that. Then choose OK. Now we're ready to install. We start the install process by going to the iodé.tech website to get the installer. Then we scroll down. No, we're not buying a pre-installed phone today, but we do want to try Iodé OS. That brings us to a page with a video at the top that is a 1-minute speed run of their installer application interface. We scroll below that and find our download buttons. We're on a Windows system today, so we click the button on the left and then save the zip file. I've already saved this, so I don't need to download another copy. The zip file has a directory called Iodé OS Installer. Unpack that somewhere that you can clean up later. Then we go into that directory and start installer.exe. Here's the installer interface. We want English. And we click Start. Now we read through the disclaimer that says we take responsibility for what we're about to do. Yes. Click Next. Yes, we understand the prerequisites. We have disk space, our phone is backed up and charged, and we have a standards compliant USB cable. Now we go ahead and connect that USB cable. Click Next. The installer is detecting which system you're on and whether you have an ADB driver available. Once it finds that, it enables the Next button. Click Next. We'll pause a second here. This link starts the side quest to enable the settings required to install a new OS. We've already done those, so there's no need to click that link. But feel free to take a look. You just come back to the screen when you're done. Now the installer uses the ADB driver to connect, which brings up the permissions pop-up. You need to click Allow on the phone. For some reason, the installer knows that I clicked allow, but can't tell that OEM unlocking has been allowed. We did that before, so we tell it so. And the installer starts booting into bootloader mode. This step takes about 10 seconds, and yes, you can watch me talking to myself narrating what's going on in the reflection. Now we use the volume up and volume down keys to ensure that Unlock Bootloader is visible next to the power button. Then we press the power button. The installer can tell we unlock the bootloader, so now we can click Next. Now the installer downloads a 2 GB file, verifies it for file integrity, and unpacks all the binaries. That took about 2 minutes on my system, so it's fast forwarded. Clicking Next brings us into the bulk of the installation. The installer is doing the same approach as EOS, where it installs a recovery mode binary and boots into that, then sideloads the operating system over ADB. It does all this without needing interaction with you, which is really nice. The whole thing takes about 1.5 minutes, so we're fast forwarding it. After the install is completed, the installer prompts you to relock the bootloader. This is optional, but I encourage you to do it because it is a good security practice. Use the volume up and down keys to ensure that Lock the Bootloader is visible next to the power button, then press the power button. Once the bootloader is relocked, you can click Next and the installer thinks you're done. But it should have either told you to click Start on your phone or restarted it for you after it detected the relocking of the bootloader. After you click Start, the phone goes into its first boot and then into the initial setup. I'll fast forward that for you. So you're all done. Iodé is an Android variant OS that gives you a pure Android experience with active ad and content blocking. They also have an inexpensive subscription option they call Premium. It provides for increased ad blocking as well as other types of content blocking, like adult and unethical social media content. They also have a whole family version. To be clear, I am not promoting Iodé's subscription services. I am not getting any compensation for this video or for mentioning Iodé. I encourage you to evaluate them on your own, which you can do with the free tier. Once you get the hang of it, doing this install only takes a few minutes, so you can help your friends convert their Android phones. The installer is smart enough to not re-download the same binaries, so if your friends have the same phone, you can do a lot in an hour. All you need is a laptop, a reasonably fast internet connection, and that USB cable. Iodé and Graphene have some good things in common. They both allow you to relock the bootloader, which is a desirable security practice. And they both have a relatively simple install process. The installer does a lot for you. In any case, now you're ready to keep your data and privacy secure. Remember to like and subscribe, and to have fun with Iodé. See you next time.